What is lo-fi? Because obviously I don't know. I have been working with this kind of music for a while. And actually, I'm going to go back today and talk about how I have been making this kind of music actually for a long time. I'm also going to talk about some of the issues that I have with lo-fi and some of the things that we thought we were done with from long ago. And now we are dealing with lo-fi issues again. So today on Make Music Income's New Music Tuesday, I've got some things fixed here, I hope. And we're just going to kind of see what happens with this new format. I've got my computer, I think, fixed up a little bit to be able to present this a little bit nicer, and hopefully our audio will come through today. So we're going to discuss lo-fi. We're going to listen to lo-fi, and I start to see some people in the chat there. I'm going to turn on the chat here, and welcome to Luca. Always good to see you first here. Yeah, I know there was no sound at first. I think I fixed that. Wolfgang, got a song from you we're going to listen to here in a little bit. Glad to see you. Daddy Lacus. All right. Hello, hello. Thanks for being here today. So what is lo-fi? Where are we with this kind of music? What is this crazy, cool, dirty hip-hop thing that we keep seeing and hearing on so many podcasts? We hear them behind people's YouTubes. We hear them on stock music. And so what is lo-fi and why is it such a thing? And apparently I'm not having much luck making it because I can't seem to get my lo-fi tracks up to Motion Array and be accepted there. They accept a lot of things from me. I've got over 100 files on Motion Array, but for some reason the things where I try to be lo-fi is not working very well with Motion Array, at least with that library. And on the other hand, though, there are people making absolute bank, like my friend Stevie B, who is always kills with that kind of stuff. And so today I want to talk about that a little bit as we get into what is lo-fi and we start listening to some music. Hey, make sure that you, if you are a person who wants to upload to Pond5, that you do go to MakeMusicIncome.com/Pond5 for my free course, How to Upload to Pond5. It's free, it's short, it's to the point, and I think you'll really like it. And also remember that we've got a free ebook called 50 Ways to Make Music Income, and you'll find that at 50 Ways. You'll find that at MakeMusicIncome.com/50Ways. Also, make sure you join our Discord. The information's below. All the stuff is below in the description of this video. And yeah, we are just going to have some fun today. So if you have any questions today about lo-fi and you are here in the chat, there's about 17 people in here. So if you're here, make yourself known. Let me know you are here. Say hello in the chat. Ask questions. And let's talk about lo-fi today. So I guess we should just get started. Wolfgang is here. I don't know if our friend, who's first on my list here? I think I have, let's see, I have Alex B first. Alex, are you in the house? If Alex is in the house, shoot me a quick chat text and I will start with your track. Otherwise, since I see Mr. Wolfgang right here, I will start with his and listen to his today. I'm trying some different things today to play the audio a little bit better. Gene says coffee first. Okay. I don't drink coffee, but I'll take a sip. Brian, hello, I'm at work, so I'm listening mostly. Well, good. Thanks for listening. And we're going to be talking about lo-fi today, Brian, and just seeing if we can crack this code on what this particular genre is, what it sounds like, why it's so popular, and things like that. Okay, so Well, I'm going to move on and listen to Mr. Wolfgang's song, Wishes of Life. And today we are going to listen on Dropbox and see if that works a little bit better. So, without further ado, let's tick this off here. And let's listen to Mr. Wolfgang's song, Lessons of Life. Let me know if you are not hearing it very well or correctly, and we'll go from there. All right, here we go. Oh, that's not the start. Let's start from the very beginning, shall we? This is Wishes of Life. Yeah, so what makes that lo-fi? And Malinez actually said something that I was thinking, and that is, this sounds very cool, but more 80s ballad than lo-fi, I would say. Well, isn't lo-fi supposedly older? Couldn't lo-fi have an older sound to it? I really love the sound of this. I mean, there's nothing absolutely wrong. Andrew says, beautiful, but too crispy for lo-fi. I agree. It's beautiful. I mean, but it's very well done. Everything is working in it. Certainly seems like something that's going to be very nice to put on stock music libraries and things like that. But yeah, what makes this lo-fi? Let's see if anybody else had any things. Brian said, I'm already in love with this track. And Daddy Lacus said, can I submit some lo-fi? You can submit. I'll try to get that into the Dropbox, and I've got about 5 things to show. So I have a few more slots probably right now. Christopher, Alex says, what's up, friends? Hello, Chris. Mr. Flesher says, hey guys, are we listening to tracks submitted by Discord members? We are listening to tracks by everybody. So anybody who's in this chat can certainly submit. Speaking of submitting, Alex, good to see you. We'll hit your track next, my man. And Ronan, good to see you. Good morning in Los Angeles. Thanks for coming by today. So yeah, so that track that we just listened, Lucas says, I agree with Malinez. This is a very nice 80s pop track. I would agree with that. Gene says stays in a small range, relaxing. I would certainly agree with that. Bradford, good to see you. Bradford says beautiful song, might be a tad high in BPM for lo-fi. Okay. Here's the funny part. I don't have any answers on this. I'm really, this is committee. This is all by committee. And I'm hoping our friend Stevie B joins us today, because I guess we could consider him a somewhat of a lo-fi champion, a lo-fi expert. Let me turn my camera back on here. Because, yeah, what makes this song or any song lo-fi? Is it the low end kind of low quality? I mean, I listen to a lot of lo-fi. I listen to lo-fi every single day. It's not that I am a genius in lo-fi. I've been listening to it. I listen to it a lot on Spotify. To me, it's kind of great background music. I used to listen a lot to contemporary jazz, but that has gotten to be pretty vanilla, and I just don't like to listen to it as much anymore. Also known as smooth jazz. Back in the day, probably 15, 20 years ago, I used to listen to something called acid jazz, which was jazz that was made pretty lo-fi. And I think that acid jazz is what has become lo-fi. And we started out with this jazzy music that was very cool, and almost like there's a lot of groups. There was a group called Count Basic that was doing it. There's actually a group now that kind of gets into this kind of stuff called 480 East, if you've ever heard of them. But they're, again, more on the jazz side, contemporary jazz side. But the lo-fi that I listen to is usually extremely, I don't know, it's really affected. It's really overly warped. It's a lot of times loops that play over and over. It's very short. It has a lot of crackling and hiss and warp to it. And it's like people are taking jazz riffs and just repeating them with some hip-hop beats. That seems to be what lo-fi is to me. What do you think lo-fi is? Going back to the song, Arco, good to see Arco, says, sounds good to me, and he's not sure if it's lo-fi or not. Art says, waiting for Steve B. Me too. Where is he? I mean, what's he doing? Sleeping? He had a bit of a hard weekend, so we'll have to give him a... Brian says, I would think lo-fi would have more tape saturation aesthetic to the overall mix. Okay, that's good. That's a good, all of these are exactly what I really wanted to talk about today. What do you feel like lo-fi is? Is there a definition for lo-fi? Is everybody have their own thoughts on what lo-fi is? And so to me, this is good conversation, and something that if you're watching this later on rebroadcast, make sure you leave comments down below on your thoughts on the songs that you're hearing, but lo-fi in general. How do we define it? Jakey Wakey said, just sent you a Zelda-inspired lo-fi hip-hop track. Okay, I'll try to call up any things that people are bringing in. I only have so much time for this show today, but we'll try to get to as many as we can. Bradford says, if you want Stevie B, I hope you didn't email him. He doesn't check emails in the morning. Dude, you are preaching to the choir. You forget who his podcast partner is. I sent him texts, but I don't have a way to check my text right now. So anyway, we'll see if Steve shows up and sends us anything here. All right, I'm just going to look here in the email. Yeah, I see some. The aforementioned Stevie B has sent us something here, and I'll try to pull it up here in just a minute. And then so has Let's see here. Jake, yep, I got your Legend of Zelda track, and I'm going to also try to pull it down here. So if you have thoughts, we'll see. Is this Hyrule Castles? I'm just going to download Hyrule Castles MP3. Yeah, looking forward to listening to Mr. Stevie B, and we'll see if he shows up here in the chat. I'll put these two up in. This is actually pretty easy to be able to upload these to Dropbox and then to share them with you guys. So, all right. Alex says, I think lo-fi in general has a combination of simple repetitive motifs, gentle sounds, and a hip-hop simple beat, usually with organic sounds in the background, like people chatting, water, or birds. That's probably a pretty good answer for a usual sounding hip-hop, lo-fi hip-hop track. There's no actual answer to lo-fi that I know of. Well, I think this was pretty close, though, Alex. If anybody agrees, disagrees, simple repetitive motifs, gentle sounds with a hip-hop simple beat. I also hear a lot of sometimes complicated 3/4 beats in some of these. A lot of the hip-hop I hear, a lot of the lo-fi, especially the hip-hop lo-fi that I hear, sounds slowed down, like they're trying to play one tempo against another one sometimes. That's something I hear. Well, since Mr. Alex is talking to us, let's go right to Mr. Alex's song here. And let me just refresh my Dropbox here. And let's see if we can listen to Mr. Alex's song. This song is called Dim the Lights, Cold Morning. So we're going to listen to this song now and see what it sounds like. So, Alex, here we go with Dim the Lights, Cold Morning. All right. Well, as you can see, Our friend, Mr. Stevie B, has showed up in the house. Steve, you missed it. Somebody earlier said, I don't know if you saw it. Bradford said, if you want Stevie B, I hope you didn't email him. He doesn't check emails in the morning, which is true. I texted him, and he did send me something. So, yeah, that was Mr. Alex B's song. Very nice. People seem to very agree that that is lo-fi indeed. Arco says, hi, Stevie B, what's up? Gene says, remind me of Sarah McLachlan Building Mystery. Yeah, maybe I can see that. But I think that, Steve says, I only check my phone. Well, you know, email is on your phone. I'm not sure if you've heard of this. Anyway, let's see. Christopher says, very chill, Alex. Agreed. Art says, the drums sound lo-fi. So let's talk about what we have in Alex's track here. I mean, we had the piano riff that was going on. We had the cool laid-back stream. We had the strings that were, playing. It was really pretty. Like Melanie says, beautiful track, Alex. Yeah, great job, Alex. Hey, Alex, is this one of the ones you're going to approach Motion Array with, is what I want to know. Arco says, I love the bass and piano. And this is a topic we could talk about for a second, and that is Motion Array and how they accept lo-fi tracks and up-tempo tracks and funky tracks. I think Steve and I both have had issues getting stuff into Motion Array that was different than our normal stuff, or whatever reason. We've both had rejections this year with Motion Array. And I know, Alex, you have been trying for quite a while to get into Motion Array. And I wonder, are they taking this kind of stuff? Alex says, I don't think I'll send it to MA. I think it's more for Spotify. What do you think? Certainly. A lot of the Spotify lo-fi that I listen to, and I listen to a lot on Spotify just because it's my kind of favorite chill out music. So if I'm not listening to like trio jazz or whatever else I listen to on there, I'm usually listening to some kind of electronic based music, and usually it's going to be some kind of lo-fi jazz or lo-fi itself. So but I tell you, the lo-fi I hear on Spotify is very short, and this song is fairly long. Am I right? It's 2:30. I guess it's not that long. But I mean, the stuff I hear on Spotify seems to be even shorter than this. And so, but maybe they just use pieces and parts of songs. I don't know. I listen to playlists, and so those are what you want to get into. Walt Williams says, very nice. Sounds really nice. Alex says, thanks, guys. Mahio says, submitted my Lofax for the stream as well if you'd like to check it out. I will give it a chance. I'm starting to get a little bit too much, maybe. So I will see how I can do. If I choose Fin, Smoke, or Rain, which one would you want me to choose? Because I could probably only have time to play one of them today. So yeah, we need to move along here then if we're going to be talking about this. Stevie, I don't know how much you heard of Alex's track. Would love to know your thoughts of it. I do have a track from Steve that he sent me here a little while ago. And so, yeah, I'm going to be playing that here in a little bit too, as well as a song that I recently, I Got You, Rain, as well as I recently got submitted to all my places, including Pond 5 and Audio Jungle, accepted at Audio Jungle, not accepted at Motion Array. So we can talk about that. You guys can review me if you like. But let's go ahead and move on here so we don't get too bogged down, and go ahead and listen to a song by Rude. And Rude is Rude has many names. Rude, are you here? And what are you also Malinez? I can never remember. Everybody has so many names. Yeah, everyone is so excited to be heard. But hey, that's part of it, right? Everybody wants to be heard and would love comments on what they are doing. So, okay. Let's now move to Rude's song here. And it's called Mellowed Vibes. And so we're going to go listen to a song by Rude. Hey, no, Melanie says, nope, not me. I can't remember Rude's handle here. But Rude, if you are in the house, let me know. Stevie B said, just heard the end of Alex's track that he had sent that to me the other day too, and I love it. Cinematic Lo-Fi, beautiful track. And Alex says, thanks for featuring my track. Well, my pleasure. Thanks for throwing it in there. There he is, Myton. That's right, Myton Music, and Rude is just on here as Rude. So Rude, here we go with your song. So let's listen to this song by Rude. This is called Mellowed Vibes. Let's get mellow. I was trying to figure out what the noise was. Was it coming back from my system? Was something wrong? And it wasn't. It was record noise in the song. Malinez says, very nice piano. Doesn't sound much like lo-fi, but it's very chilling and well done. And I take it by chilling, you mean it's very chill. I don't think it's chilling like scary. It's very chill and jazzy, like Walt says, kind of very almost on the smooth jazz side of things a little bit. To me, I have heard this kind of stuff on radio, on Spotify playlists. I mean, there's all sorts of kinds of lo-fi. I think, though, if we're trying to define it like we are today, that this is certainly a sweet track, as Alex says here, but I think it's something that's a little bit more jazzy and a little less lo-fi from everything that I kind of understand. Hey, Mix Club, glad to see you in the house. Yeah, relaxed and chill, certainly. Andrew says, I like it. It's got that polyester look. Too hi-fi, though. And maybe that's a term that we should refer to as we're looking as saying, is this lo-fi? The question is it lo-fi? Is it too hi-fi to be lo-fi? Something to think about. Malice is bad English. Oh, no. It's fine, Malice. Thanks for being here as usual. Always can count on Mal being here in the chat. So, speaking of hi-fi, you know, I know this is a very popular format, and maybe I'm just the old guy in the group, and that's certainly going to be the case, because my history goes back to when vinyl was really the only thing to listen to. And when your records would get worn out, you would have a lot of I don't know, you'd have a lot of hiss, and you'd have a lot of scratch sounds, and it would not be a pleasant experience. We did not want scratching. We did not want hiss on the songs that we were listening to on our hi-fi systems. We wanted high fidelity, and vinyl itself was a very analog type sound. I just have been doing some studying because I am teaching a little bit of the history of sound in one of my classes. And, you know, do you understand that a needle goes into the vinyl and makes a groove that then another needle sits in that groove and plays? It's a very analog process where it is creating audio sound waves for us to hear. And it's amazing that analog and vinyl works at all the way it was invented and the way we listen to it. And once you look at the science of it, and then you look at the science of tape and magnetic tape and how eventually tape was created, and it was more, the funny part is that tape was a better quality signal than, especially wide format, reel-to-reel tape was a better signal than vinyl. It sounded better. Now, we're not going to get into who agrees that, you know, vinyl sounds better than tape or cassettes or whatever. We had things like sound on sound where we could bounce tracks back and forth, but just talk about the hiss building up and all that kind of stuff. And so here we are. We're back to hiss and noise and warble and tape sounds and vinyl sounds and noise, and it's become a whole industry on its own. So what do you think of that? I mean, does anybody remember those days? Mix Club, I know you do. You know, when we were just dealing with all of this hiss and vinyl cracking and all that kind of stuff. Back in the day, we didn't want it, and now it seems, for this at least kind of thing, we want this stuff back in here. So why is it back? Why does that make such a sound? I mean, such a difference? Why are we so interested in this lo-fi thing that's going to go on? All right. So Lucas said, I'm sitting on a bench on a mountain, and it's so cool to be out of order completely from music for a month, but it's great to be listening here to these great tunes. Yeah, Luca, I'm glad you're out and listening. And Mix Club says, I could not wait for something better. Absolutely. Mix Club is of my age group, and a lot of you I know are younger. But to those of you who are younger, you have no idea what it was like to listen to music that was not the greatest fidelity, and we kept waiting for something better. We kept waiting. We got cassettes, really, between vinyl and CDs, which were not better. They were just more portable. And Art says, good thoughts. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is just reality. I mean, when you watch the history of music, it is so interesting when you read it and think about it, and you look at the history of how music has been made all these years. It's really just, it's amazing that we go in these cyclical patterns where we will listen to certain kinds of sounds and like them and then not like them. And then we get only on CDs, and everybody then wants to rebuy all their vinyl and all their cassettes on CDs. And then CDs make way for MP3s, which are infinitely worse sounding. We just can't hear it because our ears only hear certain frequencies. And so MP3s are, do you know the average MP3 is 1/10 of the quality and size of a regular WAV file? So we are listening to a lo-fi version. We just don't know it because our ears are hearing all the right frequencies. Walt says, who would have thought the imperfections of yesterday would be the moneymaker of today? Well, exactly. That's exactly a great thing. Christopher says, it's an aesthetic same as looking at 80s and 90s style anime. Sure. It has a nostalgic feeling. Sure. Or watching an old Western. I mean, if you ever watched, an old Western or even a movie from 20 years ago, 40 years ago, a 40s movie, sometimes those are just very comforting to sit and watch a movie that was made in a different time, in a different era. Even something like Gone with the Wind or Wizard of Oz or something like that, which is made with such quality, but it was made so long ago. Gene says, the crackling white noise causes sleep to baby boomers. Maybe so. Maybe so. KD, glad for you to join us today. I believe lo-fi also includes those little imperfections and distortions that were considered ugly years ago. So it's like painting a scene reference towards that time frame. Could be. Yeah, absolutely. Jakey says, so noisy. Yes, it's noisy. Did I miss anybody else up here? Jakey Wakey says, I had a Tascam 4-track cassette recorder. Same. I had that. I also had a reel-to-reel sound, a Sony reel-to-reel thing that I could record on one side, on the left side, and then I could bounce that over to the right side and record with it. And it would be great, except it would build up hiss every single time. Every single level would build up more hiss. Mahio says, I grew up recording things to cassette tape from various sources, and it's nostalgic. Interesting. The imperfect analog aesthetic adds life to tracks, in my opinion, sometimes without any hiss. Saturation or crackles, things sound too sterile to me. That's an interesting thought. Art says, that is, we want to return to the terrible sound of cassettes because we are fed up with sterility. Okay. I've never really bought the whole analog is better than CD. I love a digital sound personally. Stevie B says, my parents got a CD player in, why won't you, okay, it won't show. Oh, no, it will. My parents got a CD player in 1990 when I was 8 years old. That's when I got a CD player, but I was not 8 years old. I remember being disappointed. Couldn't figure out why we were listening to records anymore. Sounded better and album art was bigger. Well, that's the truth. I think the album art really suffered, and we've all had to look at tiny little writing for the last 10 years for sure. So Christopher says, what do you guys use for adding that lo-fi hiss? Analog vinyl samples or a plug-in like Isotope Vinyl? I use vinyl. I use Isotope Vinyl on a song that, as a matter of fact, let's just rip the Band-Aid off here. I'm going to go ahead and play the song that I just did recently and let you guys listen to my song and give me your thoughts on a song that I just submitted. This is called New Old School. I will admit that I don't usually spend a lot of time on things that I know are only going to stock. So I will stop. Steve is a much more detailed person as far as really getting all these things in. But I also feel like lo-fi doesn't deserve a lot of time. If it's going to be lo-fi, let's make it. Let's not spend a lot of time on it. So I'm going to go ahead and just play this. Again, this is a song that I just put out. Speaking of the old days, this is called The New Old School. And let's take a listen to it now This is New Old School by my brand ECX. See what you think. Hey, did you hear the lo-fi crackle? I crackle. I hope you heard that crackle, because if you didn't hear the crackle, then I don't know what to tell you. So in listening, here are some thoughts that I have just before I get to any more of your thoughts. And please don't be shy. Throw anything up that you think about this track. I think probably the horns and the drums could be more lo-fi, could be more, I don't know, nasty and older sounding. I don't know. I look forward to everybody's thoughts here. Yeah, cool. Take off some of the highs off the hats and horns. I wish I just said that. I guess I did. Daddy said, I like the overall vibe and track, but I feel the mix needs some changes to fit into the lo-fi box. Right. Correct. That's probably true. Kind of funky, that guitar. Yeah. Too bad I don't play guitar. My house says, haha, I love the crackle. Hey, I got the crackle. I got the lo-fi crackle. Slow it down, add warble. There's a lot of warble actually in that, more mid-range. Yeah, the problem is I have a real problem making things sound bad, folks. Again, it goes back to my history. I wasn't disappointed like Stevie B with CDs. I was overjoyed that I didn't have to listen to crappy sounding media anymore. I got high fidelity, which is what I'd been waiting for my whole life. 8-year-old Stevie B hadn't been dealing with crackle and vinyl and hiss and stupid Dolby noise reduction, which didn't really do anything except take the highs out of what you were listening to. It also took the hiss out, but only because it took the highs out. And so those of you who did not grow up with those days of bad sounding and quality music don't know the struggle of those of us who now make music, and people are saying, you need to make it crappier sounding. Not that I'm, angry or anything. Let's see. Walt says, Eric's lo-fi jazz track is sweet. Didn't expect the horns, but they sound great. Love the vinyl. Yeah, and again, I am not a person who usually goes back and makes a lot of changes to stuff, especially since this is already up at Pond 5. It's already up at Audio Jungle. It will be what it is. I'll probably throw it up to a few other places like that. I'm probably not going to work on it to make it sound worse and more crackly and stuff, because I've got too many other songs to move to. And I don't know if you have that problem, but when something's gone, it's gone. Yes, too fast and funky for real lo-fi. Okay.
'Cause I got the lo-fi crackle. Slow it down, add warble. There's a lot of warble in that, more mid-range. Yeah, the problem is I have a real problem making things sound bad. Again, I come from a history. I wasn't disappointed like Stevie B with CDs. I just got high fidelity, which is what I'd been waiting for my whole life.
Too fast and funky. That's not a fast song, but okay. All right. So as you can tell, I'm not bitter. I'm absolutely, sorry, Brian, I saw your comment. I roll off the horns around 12K, dig the groove. Yeah, if I want to make this more lo-fi, I certainly am going to have to take those horns and put them more in a box. Actually putting them in a cardboard box would probably be good. I'm probably also going to have to take the drums down in their quality a little bit, because they're a little, that ride is a little too nice and sweet. I am not bitter. I am better. But no, I appreciate all these thoughts, and this is the whole point of this. And you know, constructive criticism is always what we're after, right? We always want to hear what people have to say, and I knew that. And Stevie B came in with his new title for my track, Too Fast, Too Funky. So maybe. I never thought that was very fast. But anyway, thank you for that, Steve. Appreciate you. So, hey, speaking of Stevie B, guess who's next in the lineup here? I'm just going to move on and feature a song by our Mr. Stevie B. And David Foua, and if you want to explain this collab here, Steve, that'd be great. Arco says, anyways, I love that funky vibe. Who also played the drums, or is it a plug-in? If it's a plug-in, I'd like to know. No, it's a combination of loops, but I'm playing the drums. That's me playing drums, probably on Easy Drummer, some kind of Easy Drummer kit. Or some kit that I found. Daddy says, I sent a submission your way. Okay, we will see if we have time. Dude, we're getting up to the hour, and I've still got a few more to hit. I will go here, and I see your submission. I see that hand, and I will try to throw that up here if I can. Again, I probably am closed, though, after that to new submissions, because I've got about 4 more after this, and so we'll need to fly through some of these. So let's listen now to Mr. Stevie B, and this is called it's called something. Sorry, I've got too many things here. Endless Waves, Endless Ocean. Sorry, Steve. All right, let's take a listen. Yeah, Steve, I'm not sure if you know, but there is like this noise going on through the whole track, like crack, like it's like some kind of hissy crackling. Now, it might be my system playing this, but it's just, I don't know what that is. Anyway, Stevie P says the piano, he uses the piano a lot, the soft piano from Labs. Everybody seems to love the soft piano from Labs. It seems like the most popular piano on the planet. Bradford says, yes, that's the warble, and the heavy reverb on the background and the prominent scratchy sound and the bass drum with no highs or mids. Walt says, Stevie B, that was great. EP2, whole vibe is swimming in the stars. Great track. It is lo-fi, guys. It is lo-fi, that's for sure. Steve says, haha, that's the sweet lo-fi vinyl crackle, baby. Yeah, I know. I used it in mine. I used the lo-fi crackle in mine. Not enough, apparently. Harso says, I love that crackles. Steve says, cheers, guys. Cheers, Steve. So, yeah, I think that kind of shows us all the things that are there. Everybody kind of agrees that's got the sound. And I think there are those of us who might not be. This might be shocking. This might be something that we're not ready to say, but I'm ready to say it. I'm not sure I want to create crackly, dirty music that and here's what's funny part. That song we just heard, I hear that kind of music every day on my Spotify or at school. I keep on a playlist of lo-fi to just keep the young people chill. Like Gene said, the lo-fi crackle seems to keep them very chill. Let's see here. Christopher Alex says, definitely need those high hip style drums for the lo-fi. All right. Well, yeah, hip hop. Yes, sorry. Styles for the lo-fi. Definitely. And Stevie B is great at that. All right. Well, let's keep moving here. I'm going to move on to I Rule Castles. This is from Mr. Jacob Aaron Miller, Legend of Zelda inspired lo-fi hip hop. Well, we got to hear this one. So let's go to hear this one. Well, the reason there's no sound is because my camera was off. So let's take my camera back on. Sorry about that, everybody. Arcos Assume Mix Club says, when I get lo-fi to master, I have no trouble. It's when I try building a track. Oh, I'm just a boomer. And you know what? That might be me too, Mix Club. I think it just might be a thing. Sorry about that, everybody. I was trying to upload a song for somebody up here to the thing here. And is everybody liking the sound so far that has been on my previous lives here of the music? Is it sounding better to you? I would love to know your thoughts on that. You should be able to hear me fine now, but yeah, there I am. I'm talking. So let's move right along here. And since I don't see many comments there, I'm going to move right along to a song by Mahio, who's been here in the chat. And this song is called Rain. And we're going to just get a little taste of this. If songs are more than 2 or 3 minutes long, I may not be able to play more than a couple minutes because we're going to run up against a time crunch here. But this is a song called Rain by Mahio. Let's take a listen. Yeah, I like this song, Mahio. It sounds great to me. And my only thoughts might be that it is a little repetitive and a little rambly. It certainly is doing what it's supposed to do lo-fi wise. I think we could all agree that it's got the sound, it's got the feel. Mix Club says is the big lows still lo-fi? Arco says awesome groove, dig the synth bass tone. Agreed. I think it's got the high crackle and everything that's going on for lo-fi. Arco agrees about the crackles. But is it lo-fi? So thumbs up, thumbs down for lo-fi. This is like a one of those things where the guy says yes or no. I mean, is this lo-fi? Is this not lo-fi? To me, it sounds lo-fi. I hear this kind of stuff every day on the Spotify playlist of lo-fi I listen to. And I think if you went to a lo-fi playlist and you listened to it, that there would be different things happening all the time. Arco says that intro was jazzy. Brian says, where are you, Brian? Brian says, awesome groove. Dig the synth bass tone. I think we heard that one already. Yeah, so you're welcome, Mahal. Thanks for being part of the stream today. Cool tune. All right, I've got another tune to play for you, and let's see if I've got it uploaded here. I played all of these. Who else is waiting to hear? Christopher Alex, I think, is waiting for Clementine. Let me throw Clementine up there. Also, Master Lo-Fi 3. Who is Master Lo-Fi 3? That is Daddy Lakis. I hope I'm saying that right, or Daddy Lakis. But I'll throw that one up there as well, and we'll listen to both these, and these will be the last two that we listen to today, Master Lo-Fi and Clementine. So I've got Clementine up here. I'm going to go ahead and get to it. This Clementine is by, let's see here, Christopher Alex. And sorry, I'm a little bit just trying to get these up and play these for you guys. My house says it was about to get jazzier at the very moment it stopped. Oh, well, okay. And that's another thing though. If you've got to grab people right off the bat with these songs, that's why you've got 2 minutes to really grab people. You can't wait till minute 2 or 3 to start to grab them. If you've got something that's going to be jazzier, if you've got a beep section, you can't afford to not get to it within a minute, I don't think. In this kind of music where you're going to be putting up to stock places, and this isn't a spanking or discipline or anything. This is just constructive criticism. You've got to get those hooks out fast, I think, these days. Ronan said, on the lo-fi fence, could go hip-hop or lo-fi hip-hop, in my opinion. Cool. And my house says, totally, cheers. Okay, cool. So let's now get to Clementine, and I believe I have this one called up, and we'll take a listen and see what this sounds like. Is this the right file? Let's hope so. Here we go. Clementine, yeah. Clementine, what are you doing to me, Dropbox? I'm just going to go back here and try one more time. All right, here we go. Something is still uploading. That's why it's telling me that. Well, we'll have to wait 1 minute while Master Lo-Fi sent me a wave, and that is taking a while. Always send MP3s, folks, and make sure that you are sending me MP3s that I might be able to just play this by push and go. Here we go. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Really like the sound of that. I love the sound effects. I think it's just got a really cool sound. I do agree that's got a little bit of the French Romantic era. I would definitely hear that on a lo-fi mix that I would be listening to on Spotify. So, and Brian says choice dialogue. I agree. It certainly does. So now I am waiting for something to upload. It's just taken too long. If you've got a, if you happen to have a, hold on just a second. I am going to try to play one more. Master Lo-Fi looks like it came up. So I will try to play it here. Let's see if it came up here. Come on, Master Lo-Fi. Got one more to play, and here it is. Is it going to play? Yeah, here we go. Master Lo-Fi. Let's start that again. See what you guys think. That's awesome. Yeah, man, that's very cool. Very cool. I love that. Bradford says, great chords, great chord progression there. Love it. I'd take some of the crisp highs off, cover it with a blanket. Yeah. I love that kind of singing. Is that you singing along? Because that was kind of cool. Yeah, he says, yep, I am humming. And then I doubled it, plus up an octave and turned the formant down. Yeah, it's really cool. I love that humming sound. I sing a lot in mine, and sometimes I don't even sing. I just kind of hum a phrase or just do non-lyrical words that go with the music. So I dig that, and I love that. And to me, that was very lo-fi. I would definitely be hearing that on a mix of lo-fi I was listening to on Spotify or on YouTube. And again, I listen to this every day. I may not make it, and I may not even want to make it. Again, I am like some of the other folks in here, maybe Ronan, maybe Mix Club, where adding in noise just seems like a like a step backwards for us. But I get it. I love it. I listen to it all the time. So this might be a thing that I like to listen to more than make. But from time to time, I might be making some of these things. So we'll just see how we go with these. So, I have been involved with lo-fi for a long time, and my lo-fi experience started with acid jazz, which is very similar to this. It wasn't as hip-hop, but hip-hop and jazz started to mix back in the early 2000s, and you had things like, what was that song, Cool Like That? And I think other songs that had that kind of mix, and I think you saw that back in the day. Thanks for the feedback. Submitting this with 4 of the tracks to Lo-Fi Motion Array today. Well, good. Good luck, man. Are you already in Motion Array, or is this the beginning of your Motion Array journey? I'll be interested to know that. Well, everybody, thanks so much for joining us today. Remember to listen to Stevie B and I's podcast. You can hear that every Monday on our channels and also on our podcast channel. You can find information in the below to how to get to our podcast. If you just want to listen to the podcast, I should really turn these into podcasts since they are so long, these Music Review Tuesdays, and maybe I will sometime. But I am really happy that everybody joined us for this. What is lo-fi? Well, I think we've discovered that lo-fi is just a hip-hop format that really uses a lot of lo-fi, non-hi-fi sounding things along with that. I think Alex nailed it earlier today with his description. Good luck to you, Daddy Lakes, in sending that off today. Bradford, hey, my pleasure, everybody. Good stuff today. Everything was great. Maybe everything, including my own thing, did not fit exactly into what we would call lo-fi, but everything was very well done, and I continue to be just blown away by what you guys submit to me on these days, and just crazy about the quality that continues to come. And this, I think this today summed it up. This was Alex, who we listened to his song today, and he said, I think lo-fi in general has a combination of simple, repetitive motifs, general sounds, and a hip-hop simple beat, usually with organic sounds in the background like people chattering, water, or birds, or just grit and all sorts of stuff. And to me, this really was kind of the greatest explanation of lo-fi today. So if you've been listening to this podcast or this particular show today, and I think that pretty much says it all. Malinez agrees. Great, lo-fi or not, all tracks were pretty good, absolutely. And Alex says, great live stream as always. Hey, thanks everybody. Thanks for being here. Brian says, very impressed with everybody's submissions. Me too, as always. Thanks everybody for being here. We will see you on the next live and the next Music Review Tuesday. Thanks so much for being part of Make Music Income as a channel. Couldn't do this without you guys. Thanks for joining. Going to end the stream so I can go make more music income. Stevie B, see you later. Thanks for joining. Everybody who submitted, thanks so much for your tunes today. And it is time to wave goodbye. And everybody wave. Say goodbye to everybody because I'm ending the stream. Bye. Goodbye, everybody. Bye, Mahio. Bye, Mix Club. Bye.